I'm worried about the Celtics. They lost to the Wizards by 13 after early in the game they were down by 25. Jason Tatum had an awful game, and overall Kemba has been having a rough year. But actually Kemba played really well in this game. He had 25 points and 7 boards. But their defense is a major problem. There was no stopping Bradley Beal. He had another 35-point game, and I'm sure we all saw Saddiq Bey the other night torch the Celtics from 3. A lot of this can come down to Danny Ainge completely flopping on the Gordon Hayward and Miles Turner trade. But you can't completely blame it on him. The perimeter defense has been failing lately, and it doesn't help that your best player had an awful game. And on the season, I think a lot of people have been noticing his lack of free throw attempts. You could point to his aggressiveness this season. I think most people would think that he would try to be more aggressive and get towards the basket. I've got to point to guys like Semi Ojeleye. He's one of those players that's really just showing up to the game to do cardio.
Bruh. Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Semi Ojeleye played the most minutes on the team tonight, and that's including players like Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, and Jason Tatum. And yeah, I get that they were getting torched, so he was probably getting some garbage time minutes, but could he at least have done something? He had the old classic double single, not even a triple single. He's a 20 minutes per game player to put up triple single type stats on the year. And of course, yeah, they are missing Marcus Smart, their best perimeter defender. But I don't think Marcus Smart should matter this much, and if he does, then this is clearly a team's weakness. And if he does matter this much, then eliminate Marcus Smart, and boom, the Celtics are an average team. To me, it seems like a lack of intensity. The fundamental defense for the Celtics is there. They're good on the break. They don't give up a lot of second chance points and, stats like that. But when it comes down to making a rotation or fighting around a screen, they struggle, and it shows when you watch the games. I really feel like they're just being lazy on defense. And it's the easy stuff. I really feel like it's fixable, especially when you have Brad Stevens, a great defensive coach. But there's talk that Brad Stevens has fallen off as a coach. I'm not too sure about all that, but there's definitely some speculation about it. I'd like to steer away from that because, it could just be an overreaction. But there's definitely something happening there, and they've got to do something to fix it. At least you've got signs to think Kemba's going to pick it up in the future for the Celtics. He's had 3 20-point nights in his last 5 games. And yeah, the efficiency is still not there, but there's definitely reasons to believe that he'll pick it up later in the season. But right now, he is shooting a horrendous 36% from the field. And we have to acknowledge that Kemba Walker's never been this crazy efficient guy like a LeBron or a Curry. I mean, in his best season, he only put up 42% from the field, so I don't think it's really fair to expect it to be up there near 50, but it should definitely be higher than 36. So overall, where do I think this team will land in the East? Probably around the 4 or 5 seed, and that's if Smart comes back and he's playing good, and Kemba Walker is at least playing well enough to be a top 40 player. Which, like I said, maybe he's turning a corner right now. I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, what I learned about the situation is the Celtics must really depend on Marcus Smart. I understand he's a great player, but I feel like he shouldn't be depended on this heavy. But we'll have to see what happens. And of course, there's talks about their $28 million trade exception. Maybe you could target Harrison Barnes from the Kings. That's been a really popular one. The question is, would Sacramento give up Harrison Barnes? I don't know. I'd lean towards no. Seems like he's really vital to what they do down there in Sacramento. A really crazy one will be trying to trade for Jeremy Grant. I'm thinking of a package maybe like Marcus Smart, Carson Edwards, Nesmith, and 2 first-round picks. If they were to pull this trade off, they would have a 4-star lineup, and you have to wonder, how would that work out? Already the whole 3rd-star thing is kind of failing with Kemba Walker, leaving a lot of Celtics fans wishing they would have spent the money on role players in depth. Another trade I'm thinking of is with the Clippers. Lou Williams and Luke Kennard for Marcus Smart and a 2nd-round pick. Personally, I think this would be a big win for the Celtics, but it's more about if the Clippers would want to do it. If I had to guess, I think the Clippers would decline here. You also have to think the Celtics are probably going to be somewhat interested in John Collins. A weird one would be if they wanted to take a chance on Blake Griffin. I don't know how much you would want to give up for him, but it certainly can't be much. You'd also have to think the Pistons are probably going to be shopping Blake Griffin as soon as possible. At most, you'd probably give up like a 2nd-round pick and Romeo Langford or Carson Edwards. I wouldn't think the Pistons would want more than that, but maybe they're really stingy and would like a first-round pick. It's pretty unknown what Blake Griffin's trade value is at this point, so we'll have to see. That's basically my take on the Celtics this year. If you ask me, do I think this team will pick it up? I honestly have no clue.